Joining me now is Michael Steele, the former RNC chair and an MSNBC political analyst, and Lanny Davis, former special counsel to President Clinton. Both are partners in the new bipartisan strategic communication firm, Purple Nation Solutions. So, men, in the spirit of bipartisanship, let us discuss this. Lanny, can they have it both ways? Can they trash the president and tout what's going on in their states?
No, they can. I'm a little suspicious of an anonymous quotation from two people familiar with the situation. I've been a leaker myself, and I don't trust that sourcing by Bloomberg. But if that's what they said, I would say that the Republicans cannot have it both ways, and Governor Scott has a right to tout numbers. The ultimate reality is how people feel, not which is being touted or what the spin message is.
And, Michael, not just any states. We're talking some critical swing states on this list, Florida chief among them.
Well, you're absolutely right there, and I would disagree with Lanny on this point to the extent that, you know, a lot of this is less about what Obama has done or did and more about what the governor is doing and has done to turn his economy around in his state. I mean, you forget, the federal government doesn't run individual states. It's what the chief executive does, the policies they put into place when they come in the door to hit the ground running. And certainly Florida was very important, you know, politically, but it was also important economically, and I think you know, the governor's done a number of things to help move that economy in the right direction. So I would agree to the extent that the sources are a little bit suspicious. Anyone who can't, you know, man up, as if you will, and put their name to quotes like that, I'm a little bit suspicious about it.
Let me give you both an example of what worries the Romney campaign. The Florida Republican Party released this ad praising Governor Scott's stewardship of the state economy in March.
Across Florida, here's the news. Companies are hiring, expanding, putting more Floridians to work. Florida's unemployment rate continues to get better, now at a 3-year low. So what's changed? Governor Rick Scott's cutting the red tape, getting government off the backs of businesses. Over a dozen new pro-business initiatives passed by Governor Scott and Republican legislators. Florida's getting back to work.
Lanny, the only thing missing is I'm Barack Obama and I approve this message.
It's delicious.
I mean, if you were half in the bag and you were watching that, you'd think it was an Obama commercial.
It's delicious. Last time I looked, the governor of Florida had some pretty bad approval numbers, and so please just sign it paid for by the Barack Obama campaign. I don't really believe it matters, and although Michael and I he's red and I'm blue, and we came together as a company and we're looking for solutions and we're purple, the fact is it really doesn't matter. It matters how people feel. And right now there is a movement, and it does appear to be real, that people in the polls are saying they feel better now than they did last year and the year before about the direction of the economy, and that's what Ronald Reagan benefited from in 1984 after the '82 recession. That seems to be what's going on in Florida.
Michael Steele, may I ask you this question?
Sure,
Isn't
sir.
it true generally that we tend to give politicians too much credit and too much blame, that there are a lot of things going on out there that, frankly, they're not calling the shot for, but they're happy to take the praise and reluctant to take the criticism?
Well, absolutely. Michael, you're dead on about that. There's a real truth there that, you know, you come into office and you've got to deal with some of the residual. We spent the first 3.5 years listening to Barack Obama whine about George Bush, for example. So there's some truth to that. But there's also the reality that commercial is a reflection of the steps and the efforts that the governor has taken in his state to turn around, to work with the Republican legislators, to cut the red tape, to put the businesses back to work. So, you know, I think you've got to be very careful when you try to federalize individual states and the work that the governors are doing. And I speak as a former lieutenant governor in our state with Governor Ehrlich, where we inherited a $2 billion deficit from the previous Democrat administration over the course of 4 years. Fixed that $2 billion, raised an additional $2 billion in revenue that we were able to put in the bank, and we did it without raising taxes and relying on the federal government necessarily to get it done.
All right,
so you've got to look at that.
I love you, but you're now telling me it's true for all the other guys. But in my state, we really did deserve the credit.
No, but what I'm saying is that I'm saying that's true for Scott as well. That he has the opportunity to turn his state around, and he clearly has done that. And you talk about the polls, the people in the polls. polls will remember that, you know, Scott Walker was not very popular in the state of Wisconsin. Look what happened a couple of weeks ago.
Well, let me give you some other examples, because Rick Scott's not alone in this. Republican governors all over the country, including Romney surrogates, are bringing attention to their state's economic progress.
Yeah.
Ohio Governor John Kasich publicly praised his state's new jobs and falling unemployment rate. Rick Snyder called Michigan the comeback state of the United States. Virginia Governor Bob McDonnell's PAC aired an ad on the state's progress since he took office. And Wisconsin's Scott Walker, who you just mentioned, credited the state's improving economy for his win in the recall election.
Could we just say it straight? I think Michael will agree with this, even though we're looking at it from different political perspectives. If the situation were in reverse and the unemployment was going up in Florida, Rick Scott would be blaming Barack Obama. Now, let's just get it straight. Both sides play this nonsense game. And by the way, the polls you showed, Michael, a 1% margin isn't a margin at all. It's within the margin of error. And the flip of whatever you said in Florida, we still have my president, who I'm supporting, stuck in the 40s with all the things that I think are wrong with Mitt Romney. He's still stuck in the 40s. So we have a tight contest here, and it is going to be about real perceptions of the economy, not how people are spinning it in their various states.
I'm coming to your office. I want to see the purple interior. That's what intrigues me the most. Thank you, Michael Steele. Thank you, Lanny Davis.
Thank you.